At 1:37 in the morning, the sun is still hanging above the rooftops of Tromsø. Inside a quiet apartment, a father sets a glass of water on the table, then checks the clock again. For his family, hunger is not the hardest part of Ramadan here. The hardest part is knowing when the day actually ends. This is the story of Yusuf and Amina, a Muslim couple raising 2 children in northern Norway, more than 200 miles above the Arctic Circle. Yusuf works as a marine engineer. Amina teaches part-time and runs the rhythm of the home. For most families, Ramadan is marked by sunset. But here, during the season of the midnight sun, sunset can disappear completely. The sky glows through the night, birds keep singing after midnight, and the body begins to lose its sense of time. Their challenge is both simple and extraordinary. How do you fast when the sun refuses to set? And before the answer comes, there is a full day to endure. The day begins while the city is still quiet, though it is never truly dark. Thin curtains soften the silver-blue light coming through the windows. In the kitchen, Amina warms flatbread, boils eggs, and places dates beside small bowls of yogurt and oats. The children move slowly, wrapped in blankets, half awake at the table. Their youngest, Sami, is too little to fast, but he still insists on joining suhoor because it feels like a secret family ritual. Yusuf checks the prayer timetable on his phone. In other parts of the world, the rhythm of Ramadan follows the sky. Here, the family follows a calculated schedule agreed upon with their local Muslim community. It is not the same method every Muslim family uses in the Arctic, but for them, it gives structure where nature gives almost none. At 2:26 a.m., the meal ends. Water glasses are emptied. Amina reminds the children to brush their teeth. Yusuf stands for prayer while the sun rests low over the harbor, glowing against the mountains. Then the fast begins. By morning, Tromsø looks almost ordinary. Buses move through clean streets. Cyclists pass beneath pastel buildings. Tourists photograph the harbor. The mountains still carry streaks of snow, even as summer flowers push through window boxes. Yusuf walks to work with a backpack, a thermos he will not drink from, and the quiet awareness that most people around him are starting a normal day. Coffee shops open. Bakeries pull trays from ovens. The smell of cinnamon rolls moves through the street. At work, he joins a morning briefing at the marine engineering office. His colleagues know he is fasting. Some understand it. Some are still surprised every year. One coworker asks carefully, "Not even water?" Yusuf smiles. He has answered this question hundreds of times. Not even water, but there is no resentment in the moment, only curiosity. In places where Muslims are a small minority, faith often becomes something you explain in ordinary rooms, at desks, in school hallways, beside coffee machines. At lunchtime, Yusuf stays at his desk while others eat in the common area. He answers emails. He checks drawings. He watches the clock. Not because the fast is almost over, but because it is not. This is the strange mathematics of Ramadan in the north. By noon, there may still be 12 hours to go. Across town, Amina walks the children to school. Their daughter, Lena, is old enough to understand Ramadan, but young enough to feel different when classmates pull sandwiches from lunchboxes. She is not required to fast the full day, but she wants to try part of it. Amina tells her what her own mother once told her. Fasting is not only about hunger. It is about learning what controls you and what you can control. Later at home, Amina prepares food she cannot yet taste. Lentil soup simmers on the stove. Salmon is seasoned with herbs. A small pot of rice rests under a towel. In the refrigerator, she keeps halal chicken brought from a shop that orders specialty meat from farther south. In major cities, halal food may be easy to find. Here, it requires planning. Freezer space becomes part of religious life. So do labels, phone calls, and knowing which store owner understands exactly what you are asking for. By late afternoon, the family's energy changes. The children are quieter. Yusuf sends a message that he is leaving work. Amina sets the table slowly, not because dinner is near, but because preparing it gives the day a direction. Outside, the light does not soften into evening. It simply continues. And that is when the real test begins. In most places, sunset gives the fasting person a mercy, a visible ending. The sky changes. The call to prayer comes. The day releases its grip. In Tromsø, the sky offers no such signal. This is where the spiritual challenge becomes psychological. The body expects darkness after exhaustion. The mind expects evening after work, but the Arctic summer removes both. Yusuf says the first week is always the hardest. Sleep breaks into pieces. Meals happen at strange hours. The children ask why other Muslims online are breaking fast earlier. Amina tries to keep the home calm, but even calm takes effort when the clock feels detached from nature. There are also smaller challenges, the kind that do not look dramatic from the outside. A school event scheduled during iftar time, a work dinner, where Yusuf quietly orders nothing, a neighbor offering homemade food without realizing it contains pork gelatin, a child being asked, "Are you Norwegian or Muslim?" as if identity must choose one language. Most misunderstandings are not hostile, they are simply careless. But repeated often enough, even careless questions leave marks. Amina worries most about the children, not because Norway is cruel to them, but because childhood is where belonging is formed. She wants them to speak Norwegian confidently, love the mountains, ski with friends, and feel at home here. But she also wants them to know the sound of Quran in the house, the meaning of Eid, the taste of dates at iftar, and the dignity of being visibly different without feeling ashamed. For Yusuf, the tension is quieter. He prays in an unused meeting room at work when it is available. When it is not, he finds a corner, a storage space, even the back of his car. No one stops him. But accommodation and belonging are not always the same thing. Then there is the question people ask every Ramadan in the Arctic. Why do it at all? Why fast when the geography is so extreme? Why continue a ritual shaped in desert heat under a sun that now refuses to leave? For Yusuf and Amina, the answer is not about proving endurance. It is about continuity. Fasting connects them to Muslims in Jakarta, Cairo, London, Lagos, Toronto, and Makkah. It connects their children to grandparents far away. It turns a bright Arctic night into part of a global spiritual rhythm. But no family carries that rhythm alone. Near the edge of the city, a small Muslim community gathers in a modest prayer space. There is no grand dome, no towering minaret, no dramatic skyline, just a clean room, stacked shoes, children whispering, and the smell of food warming in foiled trays. This is where the Arctic fast becomes lighter. Families arrive from different backgrounds: Somali, Pakistani, Syrian, Bosnian, Norwegian converts, students, workers, refugees, and second-generation children who switch languages mid-sentence. Outside, the sun still shines. Inside, everyone understands the same clock. The imam speaks briefly before iftar. He does not pretend the issue is simple. In northern regions, Muslims may follow different scholarly opinions when daylight becomes extreme. Some follow the nearest city with a normal day-night cycle. Some follow Makkah. Some follow local calculated timetables. What matters here is not argument, but sincerity, safety, and community agreement. At the table, the children sit together first. They compare how many hours they fasted. Lena proudly says she made it until after school. Sammy reaches for a date before the time has arrived and is gently stopped by 3 adults at once. Then the moment comes. A phone alarm sounds softly. After more than 22 hours, Yusuf lifts a date to his mouth. Amina drinks water. Around them, the room falls into that brief silence known in Muslim homes everywhere. The silence of relief, gratitude, in the first sip after a long day. The food is simple: soup, rice, fish, bread, fruit, tea. But in that room, it feels ceremonial. Later, the prayer rows form. Shoulder to shoulder, people face the same direction. Though many came from different countries and different lives, children drift between languages. Someone laughs in the kitchen. Someone washes dishes. Someone packs leftovers for a student who lives alone. This is how minority communities survive, not only through institutions, but through repeated acts of care. Ramadan here is not just fasting. It is calendars printed and shared. It is allow meet orders coordinated by text message. It is parents taking turns driving teenagers to prayer. It is aid clothes arriving late in the mail. It is explaining the same tradition every year and still choosing joy. For one night, under a sun that will not set, the family does not feel like an exception. They feel held. After midnight, Yusuf and Amina walk home with the children. The streets are quiet, but the sky is still bright. The mountains stand blue in the distance. The harbor reflects a sun that seems suspended outside of time. Sami falls asleep before they reach the apartment. Mina asks if Muslims in other countries are asleep already. Amina smiles and says some are sleeping, some are praying, and some are just waking up for sahur. That is the beauty of a global faith. Somewhere the day is beginning. Somewhere it is ending. Somewhere it is ending. Somewhere a family is waiting for the same mercy under a completely different sky. In the Arctic, Ramadan does not look like the images most people know. There are no warm desert sunsets, no crowded night markets, no call to prayer echoing through ancient streets. Here, Ramadan is quieter, stranger, more private. It is a father checking the clock against a sunlit night, a mother teaching her children that faith can belong anywhere, a community turning a rented room into a home, a glass of water held with patience for longer than seems possible. The midnight sun makes the fast harder to understand from the outside. But for Yusuf and Amina, it also makes the meaning clearer. Faith is not only practiced where it is easy. Sometimes it is practiced at the edge of the map, in a place where the sun forgets to set, by people who remember exactly why they began.